Get to Smoothie King today and try the new blueberry, raspberry, or watermelon lemonade smoothies. They're all made with real fruit, real juice, and no bad stuff. Just check out the no-no list at smoothieking.com. Try the new lemonade smoothies at Smoothie King today.
Bum, 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 bum. Yep. You know what that means. It's time for another episode of the After Buzz podcast. Yay. Hello and welcome.
Yay.
My name is Nico Adjemi, and your host of the After Buzz, and with me is the man of the hour, Buzz Adams.
Good. I was about to say good morning. Good
part noon?
Of the day of whatever day you're, what time,
whenever you're
listening.
Right. Is it because you do a morning? I mean,
I'm used to saying good morning.
In the morning show. Well, on today's episode, we will be talking about two different topics, and it might be a little quicker one because we have a meeting to get to right after this. All right, so let's just get right into it. A YouTuber has just visited and kind of shown off to the wider world something called the Zone of Death. Now, it's a place in the United States where...
What?
Yes.
Where is it so I can avoid it? Is it Death Valley? Because that sounds like it would be a match.
That's a type of death zone, I imagine. Now, this is a place in the United States where a legal loophole legally allows anybody to get away with murder or any crime. Any crime.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Thunderdome.
Basically, Thunderdome, bitch. Okay, so the
Zone of Death.
No, let me explain it to you.
I'm going to look it up.
No, don't look it up. Wait for me to do this.
Fine.
The loophole was discovered in 2005 by a law professor, and he was working on an essay about the Sixth Amendment. The Sixth Amendment in the Constitution requires defendants to have a fair and quick trial. But this law professor raised the question, is there a place in the United States where there aren't even enough eligible citizens to form a jury, and therefore no trial could be brought against whoever committed the crime in the area? Turns out, yes. That a place is exactly in a 54 square mile zone in Yellowstone National Park. The law professor says a few people do live in that section. It's not impossible to put together a jury. It would just be difficult, and there's probably not enough people to make up an impartial jury to the standards that would be needed.
Well, the entire jury would be park rangers, I assume.
Right. So you could go to this area,
kill somebody,
and even if you were arrested and maybe tried, there wouldn't be enough people to, and because legally I'm allowed this trial.
Yeah. I'll bet they would come up with some workable solution to that.
Probably.
I mean, your victim. Where did your victim come from? Did that, when you...
I think you were allowed to, if you're going to be prosecuted, it has to be prosecuted in the place where the crime happened. It can't be like, well, let's just move it to Nevada.
If it was cross state lines, it's a federal case. Also, first-degree murder is... Can that be taken up on a federal level if it didn't involve crossing state lines?
That's why it's like a technical legal loophole, not necessarily.
I think if you kill somebody in Yellowstone, they're going to find some way to put you on trial anyway.
Well, the YouTuber actually goes ahead and says, "I'm not telling everybody this to encourage them to go commit crimes. I'm actually doing this so that they close the loophole."
I mean, there's a way that if you're on the open water on a ship.
International waters. No laws, baby.
You'll be tried. It depends on where that ship is registered.
Yes. There are some things. Now, Congress has been aware of this zone of death for 19 years, and nothing has been done to even address it. I thought that was interesting, right?
Okay. I guess. I mean, it all sounds kind of...
You want to do a little murder?
How far into the woods do we have to go? Because then I'd have concerns about wolves and Sasquatches.
Oh yeah, those would be. We would have to hike at least that much.
Yeah.
All right, my next story, which I'm super excited to share, because I'm not sure. Okay.
Can I just I got so many Deadpool Wolverine spoilers.
I was
just wanna
thinking of
get off
making.
my
I was
chest.
thinking of making this just an entire spoiler episode, but what
We
I
can't
think
do that now. I mean,
I think Thursday will make it a Deadpool spoiler episode.
yeah, I can see a lot of reasonable, good people who decided I'm going to wait a whole week.
Oh no, that's fine. But because this is a podcast, I can title it Deadpool spoilers. So you're not. There's no way for you to listen to this without knowing fully ahead of time. Or
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Here.
Okay. In a new experiment, scientists have actually mind-controlled mice remotely.
Okay.
I
I'm
know.
listening. Go
Okay.
on.
At the mere flick of a switch, a magnetic field, mice that were engineered with nanoparticles in their brains activated switches that made them to either feed and eat more, socialize more or less, and act like clunky new mothers in an experiment designed to test a new innovative research
Could they
tool.
make you eat less?
Yes.
So it's Ozempic for the brain.
Yes. So this is actually based on
Hey, before you wrap things up, give me the downside of Ozempic because, listen, I don't want to say anything too shocking here, but somebody offered me. Not like a full
Oh my
supply,
God.
but like, hey, you want to give it a try? I got some.
oh my God, you're making it sound exactly how the South Park Ozempic special made it. Those moms sound like give me a hit of one of your Ozempics. It's like you're trading secret drugs. What, you got a guy?
I didn't solicit for it. Somebody just said, hey, I have these. So if you know, like, what the actual, like, health risks are, does it damage your organs?
Well, what would happen when you run out?
I don't know. Just see if I guess I would either try and finagle my own prescription, and it could be Mounjaro as well,
Sure. Or Wegovy.
or Wegovy. Any of
Or
the,
Splish Splash.
I was taken aback. What was the one? There was one, and one of the moms is on this other thing. Oh, I'm on so and so, and I thought, okay, well, that's got to be a joke one. But then I found out, no, that's a real Ozempic mimic as well.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
It's hilarious.
I now hate, with a seething, white-hot hatred, the American healthcare system and how it's all tied up.
and pharmaceutical companies.
I don't hate pharmaceutical companies. They provide valuable services.
Yeah, but that semaglutide, you saw how cheap it was, and you saw how the markup.
I say we open our own compounding pharmacy.
Do you want to know the side effects? I mean, extreme nausea, bad farting, and digestive issues.
And it just makes you not hungry?
Yeah. Like not hungry at all.
Randy, aren't you going to eat the... No, I'm okay. Like
Yeah.
in the episode, it's just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. It's perfect.
It was a great
Well, okay,
episode.
so that's actually kind of what they did in this experiment.
Switched off or on something in the mouse's brain.
Right, and what they did is they used magnetic fields, and there's a new field of research and therapy. You can go to a psychologist or psychiatrist now. It's called TMS, or trans magnetic stimulation, and they put basically a real powerful magnet around your head, and it bathes the neurons in magnetism, which actually switch on electrons. It basically
And
makes
this
electrons.
is mainstream
Yeah.
medical science?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll just take a sound bath.
Oh, it's not the same at all. But they're using magnetism to stimulate larger parts of your brain, different parts of your brain. So this technique, this experiment, did it surgically, like real, not just like bathing a whole area of your brain in magnetism. They grew these mice, and they were able to grow them with, basically they built circuits in their brains where they wanted them, and then they used a switch of magnetism to just flip on that switch.
Hey, agree or disagree with this statement? Anything they do medically or experimentally with mice, they could probably do it with humans. Or is it so different?
Mice are...
I know they use mice because nobody really complains if mice are...
No, that's not
killed or
necessarily. It's all
tortured.
about the model. So, like, does what you're doing the thing on is it a good model for what eventually, and mice actually are a good model. Like the brain of the mouse is not I mean, ours is much more complicated and bigger, but it's fundamentally not any different. It doesn't work that differently. Mm-hmm. So it's a good model. Yeah. But
every time there's some kind of development, it's like, well, they did this with mice. I'm thinking, so I think probably they could do it with humans.
Well, the reason mice are good because you can grow them, basically. Like mice are born within a few days. And
you can go through several generations, see how it affects
all of them, right? Yeah. And so I think it's just an easier model and animal to work with at the beginning stages.
One of the freakiest medical pictures I've ever seen. I don't know if you remember it, but it was like 20 or 30 years ago.
Is it the monkey with the brain open and they're like pushing stuff in it?
It's a mouse, and they're growing ears for people who had their ears cut off or lost an ear, or maybe they were born, with a defect they didn't have, and it was growing a human ear, a perfect human ear on the back of the mouse.
Yeah, that's wild.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. They've grown weirder stuff off of mice now.
Right.
I've actually gotten to go to the animal research lab at Texas Tech here, where they, all what did they have? Did they have chimpanzees?
Do they have chimps?
I think they do have chimps. Yeah.
I feel really bad. Those are definitely the bad guys in the Planet of the Apes reboot, the first one.
You did this to us. You experimented. Anyways, what do you think of this new mind control technology? They were actually able to turn a switch on and make the mice socialize more or less, eat more or less.
I would like to think that humans have fundamentally higher brain functions than mice do, but maybe not. Maybe it's just a matter of pushing buttons and sending electrical stimulation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? But I think that humans would have the capacity to say, wait, why am I acting so bizarrely? And then your self-awareness is going to affect whatever.
Well, you might not think of it as bizarre, just like how Ozempic making you not eat anymore, you might not even register.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. That you wouldn't think of that as like
I'm not good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can now do this with a switch, which means somebody could be in a different room, a different city, and then turn this on, you might start to act or feel a certain way.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that there's some version of this, but like if I've got a lot of things to do and I've got a little bit of time to do it, I knuckle down and I get so motivated and I do it. It's like, I ought to be living my life like this every day. God, I wish they could stimulate my brain so that I'm always like,
energetic,
you know what I mean?
Energetic and ambitious and
goal oriented and
forward thinking
with follow through. It's like when I've got something I've got to do, I get in there and get it done, and I don't even think twice about it. In fact, I kind of love it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So I did this workshop this weekend, and I catered breakfast and lunch for everything, which means
running around getting stuff.
Not just getting it, but then once I had it all at my house, I had to think about it like, wait, I need a cold box. I need a box to put ice in the bottom and then keep the food cold.
Okay.
And then I need another box to carry all of the plates and tablecloth and this and that. And then I'm going to need another box with all the condiments for the sandwiches. And so I did all that organizing by myself. And anyway, my point is I was motivated, like you're saying. I had to get it done. There was no way for me to put it off because everybody would complain.
If there were some scientific advancement in the form of what you're talking about with the mice or even pharmaceuticals, you would take it immediately. I would be interested in finding out more about that.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
I agree. I think
remember
that's probably Limitless.
The Limitless movie with Bradley Cooper?
Yeah, you're basically okay. You know what? I've been thinking about this for a long time.
Some people are going to say, "Well, that's math."
I feel like all of well, they're not wrong. I feel like everybody has these feelings and I think it's easy to look at other people who are like really motivated and really doing their own stuff and be like, "What do they have that I don't? What do they have that I don't necessarily have?" And it might not necessarily be that they have anything different. Their brain is just working differently. You know what I mean?
You know who lived their life like we're describing, task oriented. You're not putting stuff off until, you're not procrastinating. pretty much people in every stage of history up until recently. You didn't have the luxury of bed rotting. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they used to call those people. There was names for them. A ne'er-do-well or somebody who would.
I'm going back more like hunter-gatherer.
Okay, yeah.
You pretty much, you can't decide, you know what, I just do not feel like gathering
a malinger.
food
Dude, there were people that just were philosophers and sat in their beds and just were able to think and write all day. I mean, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
They did have a king paying for them a lot of times or
Right.
something. But I think that explains kind of our society's obsession with pharmaceuticals that can increase your brain power and motivation, and motivational speakers. Where did that profession even come from? Were people just so unmotivated, like you're talking about, and
Here's how to
procrastinating?
get motivated.
Yeah, that guy knows what he's doing. He looks like he knows
Here's
what
how
he's
to
doing.
organize your life.
But they all say different things. They're all saying different motivational ways and tactics, and I'm pretty sure what they're saying might just apply to themselves.
Tell me if you agree with this. I was sitting in my backyard enjoying all the creature comforts that we take for granted.
Oh, shit. Wait, I'm sorry. We got to go. Well, we're...
So anyway, almost everybody living today, I mean, unless you've got, almost everybody, even if you're on the poor side, probably lives much more comfortably than almost anybody did 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, guaranteed.
I mean, even if you were the king, well, you didn't have good air conditioning.
No. Some of the poorest people now probably
live better than anybody, except maybe the kings. You know,
Right.
maybe you could have somebody fan you with a palm frond, and that was your air conditioning. But for the most part, no matter where you are, your life is so much more convenient and comfortable than at any other point in history, but we don't seem to be satisfied with that, or we don't seem to even appreciate it. So I was pondering this as like, man, this is their idea. People 1,000 years ago, this is their idea of heaven. You don't have
of retirement.
You don't have to work you get a couple of days off every week. You get a vacation. You get to live past 30. Things like that. We literally live in what their conception of heaven would have been like.
All right.
And all we do is bitch and moan.
That's going to have to do it for today's AfterBuzz because we've got a meeting right now.
All right.
Thanks for listening. We will check you out next Tuesday and Thursday. And don't forget to listen to the Buzz Morning Show. Talk to you next time.